The first thing that every pro player does when they hit a forehand is they pivot with their outside foot and they turn their shoulders sideways. Now, to get a sense of what this looks like, let's first start by watching a few clips of me shadowing the motion. Coming out of my split step, I pivot with my outside foot, I transfer my weight to that foot, and I turn my shoulders sideways. From the side perspective, what you'll notice is that when I pivot and turn my shoulders, my tennis racket starts to come back. Now, this is a very, very important point. My tennis racket is coming back because my shoulders are turning sideways and not because I'm using my arms to take the racket back. It's a big mistake in this step to use your arms to try and take the racket back. So let's watch this clip one more time. When I pivot and turn my shoulders, my tennis racket is coming back by virtue of my shoulder turn and not because I'm using my arms. During this step, you want to keep both hands on the tennis racket. Let's go to the FYB TV screen and watch Sasha Jones, a professional tennis player from New Zealand, pivot and turn her shoulders. Now, these clips are from a recent Washington Castles World Team Tennis event. And when Sasha goes to hit a forehand, she starts her motion by pivoting with her outside foot, transferring her weight to that foot, and at the same time, turning her shoulders sideways. Now, from the back perspective, when she pivots and turns her shoulders, you can see that the tennis racket is starting to come back by virtue of that shoulder turn. The arms aren't taking the racket back. In fact, she's got both hands still on the tennis racket. So let's watch this one more time to really hammer the point home. When she pivots and turns her shoulders, it's the shoulder turn doing the work to get the racket back and not her arms. Finally, let's freeze the action and look at some pictures of Frenchman Gael Monfils pivoting and turning his shoulders. Now, Monfils recently made it to the semis of the French Open, and he's hit one of the hardest forehands on record, around 120 miles an hour. Now, here we have Monfils hitting his split step. He's in the air, he's about to come down, and in this next shot, now we've got him pivoting and turning his shoulders. And if we zoom it in on his feet to start, you'll see that he's pivoted with his outside foot, and he's got his weight all on that foot. And let's move it up to his shoulders now, and you can see that he's turned his shoulders sideways. And then if we bring it back out, because his shoulders are sideways, the tennis racket has started to come back. Again, the shoulder turn brings the racket back, not the arms. Now, the other point I want to make is that the pivot and the shoulder turn need to happen at the same time. If you try and turn your shoulders without pivoting, you can try this at home now, it's harder to get your shoulders sideways if you don't pivot, because the pivot is going to open up your hips, and that's what makes it easy to get your shoulders all the way sideways. So the motion happens all at the same time, the pivot and the shoulder turn, and the shoulders are what bring the racket back and not your arms.